I feel like if the 49ers ever could have everyone back, yeah, they'd be a force to be reckoned with, but they just can't line it up. And you look at the Rams, they finally have gotten healthy, and now they're the team to deal with, the team that nobody wants in the playoffs, the team that could go to Detroit and beat the Lions if they get an opportunity to do it. And it's so much about being healthy, but it's also having that mindset. We're healthy, we're going to stay healthy, we're going to come in and we're going to kick your butt, we're going to play hard, we're going to throw caution to the wind, we're going to find this perfect balance, and we're going to potentially have a special ending to the season. For the 49ers, it's never been special this year.
Yeah, I look at Sean McVay, and I just think that he's done such a great job keeping his team engaged and really motivated to play. You talk about all the injuries they had on the offensive line. You talk about losing both wide receivers. And I remember when they lost both those wide receivers, you had guys like Tutu Atwell, you had Demarcus Robinson really stepping up and making plays. And that comes from coaching. And when you start to lose guys and you're able to, blend in other veteran players, bring them in and make major contributions and keep this thing going. It's Sean McVay, man. Just the job that he's done, motivating his guys and really making them understand like the importance of sticking together and despite all the injuries. I remember they played the Minnesota Vikings. The Minnesota Vikings came in, they were blitzing them all over the place. He had an unbelievable game plan. He had max protection, 6 and 7 man protections. He was getting the ball out of Matthew Stafford's hands very quickly, and it negated and frustrated the Minnesota Vikings. But these are the adjustments that a really great coach like Sean McVay makes. And I'm just like, wow, coaching does matter in this league.
That was week 8, the first game that they had both Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp on the field. Rodney, they were 1-4 at the bye, and if the 49ers hadn't just squandered the week 3 game at L.A., they'd have been 0-5 going into their bye week. It was so bad, they were talking about trading Cooper Kupp. They were trying to generate a market for him. I felt like at some point maybe Matthew Stafford's name comes into the mix. I'd heard some stuff that Stafford was maybe thinking, hey, if this is it, my Rams career is over after this year, let me go somewhere where I have a chance this year. It never really came to a head, but it was bubbling up. They come out of the bye. They beat the Raiders. They beat the Vikings. Everything changes. 7-2 since the bye week. 7-2 after a 1-4 start, and here they are. That's why, in September, early October, yeah, those wins are money in the bank for playoff positioning. Those losses can come back to haunt you no matter how good you are in January. But teams are going to get better. Teams are going to get worse. The 49ers got worse, and the Rams have gotten better. And now here we are, 3 regular season games left. Rams feeling pretty good about themselves. They control their path to the NFC West Championship. And again, they are the team in the NFC that no other NFC team wants to see rolling into their building in January, especially not the Lions.
Yeah, especially with the experience that they have. You talk about Sean McVay, being, winning the Super Bowl and just the experience that they have overall as a team. I like this team on the defensive side of the ball. I felt like, we always talk about their front 7, but really their secondary has been very steady. Those young safeties back there making plays and, interceptions, pass breakups. I like the direction in which they're going, and the Rams just continue to get better. And it, like I said, it's a big credit to their head coach, Sean McVay.
Think about this. On Sunday, they're in that track meet against the Bills with 86 total points, gave up 42 points to Josh Allen. They held the 49ers to under 200 total yards, 191 net yards for the 49ers with just 3 days off in between. It's amazing. It's amazing. Credit to the Rams' overall plan to get the guys healthy, get the guys ready, get the guys rested, get them refocused after getting embarrassed by the Buffalo Bills. Unbelievable. Here's some of the Rams on a win that keeps them very much alive in the chase for the 2024 postseason.
For us to be able to win 7 of 9 after the bye, the way that we started, I think this group is getting better. There were some things that we can certainly clean up. I do think the conditions were a factor, and that's a team that has as much respect for me as anybody. They're so well coached. They got great personnel, and they were fighting for a lot of things tonight, and they made it a really tough, difficult game for us, and our guys came out on top.
We have opportunity to keep our season alive every single time we go out there and play, and that's a whole lot of fun. And I think our team show we can win football games kind of any way you want in about a 4-day span. So we got to continue to get better. By no means was it a great performance by us as an offense tonight, but, man, that was some good team football.
Yeah, hey, they really have been special. Matthew Stafford, there's a fine line, Rodney, between courage and stupidity. And there's a couple times last night where he's throwing his body around. I mean, this guy's been playing since 2009. He's diving head first for a first down and not sliding. He's trying to go head first into the end zone. And when you watch, he got rocked, and he never shows it. I have more respect for him than any other player in the NFL. When you consider how he's built and how long he's been playing, and he never complains about anything, I think he carries around injuries that the team doesn't even know about. He just deals with it. He's like John Wayne out there. I've been saying that for the past few years. And he never seems affected. And look, there's a point where, maybe you should go get checked out. Maybe you did. Maybe you do have a mild concussion that nobody knows about. He just gets up and he keeps going. It's amazing to watch. And it's got to be inspiring to some of these guys who are 13 years younger than him just breaking into the NFL.
Mike, I think it's inspiring to us. I mean, we've covered him his entire career, and for him to go out there and play on the level, the physicality. And we've watched him in Detroit get absolutely murdered, just beat up, just kicked around, and he continues to get up and fight. And that's why we've always had respect for Matthew Stafford. I've always talked about his toughness, always talked about his willingness to, fight and claw and to be right there with his teammates, and just so much respect for him. And that's why he's a Super Bowl champion. And he reminds me so much of Tom Brady. I mean, a guy, like, you look at his stature and don't really understand the mental toughness, the emotional toughness, and the toll that the pressure that they put on their shoulders. I'm just a lot of respect for Matthew Stafford and what he's been able to do. And I do believe once he retires, Mike, this guy should walk right into the Hall of Fame.
Oh, straight in, without hesitation. And he may get another Super Bowl win by the time it's all said and done. First time I was ever around you, 2009, November. It was that Sunday when Matthew Stafford forced his way back out onto the field against the Cleveland Browns. I was in the viewing room for the first time. You were there, Coach Dungy, et cetera. And that epitomizes his career. He just goes about his business. He doesn't seek the limelight. He doesn't crave the attention. He's not a look at me, all about me guy. He's all about the team, and he's all about playing, and he's all about not saying a word about the realities of playing football and getting hit all the time. It really is amazing to watch. And because of it, he doesn't get the appreciation he deserves, because the guys who hog the limelight are the ones that we talk about.
No, not necessarily, Mike. Football, you're a football guy. So football guys know about Matthew Stafford and have a lot of respect for him. And, when you start talking about Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford, those are the two tangible leaders that guys get a chance to see. I mean, those guys work extremely hard. They sacrifice a lot for the team. And both of those guys are all about teams. The Rams showed me just a level of maturity, because I thought that, they were going to have a letdown after, giving so much to beating the Buffalo Bills. And they came right back and handled their business on the road. The Rams are peaking at the right time. And if I'm Sean McVay, I'm feeling pretty good about where my team is headed. All the guys are engaged. The defense is playing solid. And those young guys in that secondary, they're getting the opportunity to get all this experience, which just builds confidence and gives them depth in the secondary. I think it's tremendous.
Yeah, I feel foolish. I went up to Little Caesars last night, sponsor of the Joint PFT PM Chris Sims Unbuttoned podcast, get my crazy puffs, get my wings. The guy at the counter said, "Who you like tonight?" And I said very confidently, very authoritatively, "I like the 49ers in this one. They're desperate. Rams have got to be tired after that Sunday game." And I was eating crow after I had my crazy puffs and my wings last night, because the Rams proved that they're able to reset. They're able to go in there. Think about that. The 49ers were desperate. This is night-night for the Niners. They're done. They're not mathematically eliminated, but they're eliminated. They're done. They're not coming back from this. 3 games left, 5-8. 5-8, 6-8, 6-8. They're not coming back from this. Is it 6-8 or 6-9? I can't remember at this point. It's probably right in front of me, but they're done. They're done. 6-8. They're done. And last night, that was it. That was a playoff game for them last night. The idea that they weren't able to pull it off. Thank you, Gary. 6-8, down at the bottom of the in the hunt. At least we got the Panthers and the 49ers, not the 49ers, but the Saints off the in the hunt. It's getting narrower in the NFC, but the 49ers, they needed that one last night badly. And there are the Rams at 8-6. And, Rodney, that puts a ton of pressure on a team that you're going to be witnessing live and in person Sunday in Seattle. The Seahawks, they need to win that game against the Packers to keep pace with and keep ahead of the L.A. Rams. And the Rams and the Seahawks are getting together later in the season.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what you want. I want to see the pressure. I want to see how the Seahawks play, the improved defense. Geno Smith, we're talking about one of the top offenses in all of football. But I look back at the 49ers too, Mike, and just too much just to overcome. I mean, I thought they played extremely hard. It was nice having Talanoa Hufanga back and Dre Greenlaw, and you see what this defense can do when they get some of these guys, these starters back on the defensive side of the ball, but just too much to overcome. And I don't know, Mike, if I'm trying to rebuild this team, as much as I like Bosa, just imagine if you put Bosa on the open market, what you could get in return for Bosa. And I know a lot of people won't agree with me on that, but that's something that you have to consider. Bosa, Deebo Samuel, even Kyle Juszczyk, these guys that are veteran players making a lot of money, you have to start looking at the opportunity to unload some of these guys to get younger and to get a little bit healthier on the offensive side.
The challenge with moving some of the guys who have gotten their massive second contracts is the cap consequence for doing so. That's part of the balance. How much do we save? How much does it cost us from a cap standpoint? What can we get by way of draft picks? But if you're going to take a step back and look at everything in San Francisco, that's part of the everything that you need to look at. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.